performance of a tractor depends not only upon design and construction, but also upon the care it receives during its years of operation. The first gas tractor was built by Case in 1892. With this background of years of experience, Case tractors are designed for long life and economical performance. They are manufactured with the utmost accuracy. Every Case tractor is thoroughly tested and inspected during its construction and after it leaves this modern assembly line. Case tractors are built to give years of dependable service under the most severe operating conditions, whether in dust or rain, in the extreme cold of winter, or the torrid heat of summer. When a Case tractor passes into the hands of a user, its care passes beyond the control of the manufacturer. Its life and performance from then on depend primarily on the care and attention given by the user. For that reason, we take pleasure in presenting the story of Ed Harvey and his tractor. The Barnes Implement Company sells and services the full line of Case machinery. Inside, an important business transaction has just taken place. Ed Harvey, a local farmer, has bought a new Case tractor. Let's see how Dealer Barnes prepares the tractor for delivery and how he follows it up after it goes to work on Ed Harvey's farm.
Mr. Harvey, you've made a good buy. With proper care and operation, you will find Case the most economical source of farm power on the market today. Treat it right, and it'll serve you long and faithfully. We always completely service new tractors before delivery. So I'll do that now and deliver your tractor first thing in the morning.
How are you going to bring it out? On your truck?
No, you're only a mile and a half from town. I'll just drive it out to your farm. A little run like that at normal engine speed is an excellent way to start breaking it in.
Dealer Barnes observes on the red warning tag attached to the oil filler plug that the crankcase contains no oil. Due to the accuracy with which Case tractors are constructed and the close fitting of all working parts, they should always be started out with a good grade of SAE number 10 oil. Light oil is vital to success, especially during the first 100 hours of work. He also oils the valve, the rocker arms, and the push rods, which in operation are lubricated by oil vapor from the crankcase, another reason why it is so important to use light oil. Now Dealer Barnes checks the oil in the air cleaner and finds it has been filled with thin oil at the factory. A warning tag on the steering gear cautions the dealer to check the oil level in the transmission. He finds that the transmission has been filled with oil up to the level of the plug. He also checks the oil in the motor lift housing. Case tractors have but a few places to oil with the pressure gun. The water pump of a Case tractor uses no packing. Therefore, a special water pump grease is required. This grease cup should never be replaced with a pressure fitting. The radiator can be filled with an ordinary pail. The large oval opening does not require a funnel. Now Dealer Barnes fills the fuel tank using a clean funnel with a filter screen, and finally, with the spark plugs removed, a small quantity of light motor oil is placed in each cylinder. That's to make sure the upper portion of the piston will be free and well lubricated when the tractor is first started. Then, with the spark plug back in place and the spark properly retarded, he cranks the tractor. The tractor has been fully checked and serviced. Dealer Barnes knows it is ready for delivery in the morning.
Bill, we've got to get Ed Harvey's tractor into the field right away. I'll drive it out if you will load up the truck with the cultivator and lugs. And Bill, don't forget his set of tools.
All right, I'll be there.
Morning, Ed.
Good morning, Barnes. It didn't take you long to get out here.
No, and it won't take us long to get this tractor ready for work. Let's put on the lugs. Hello, Harold. Are you going to drive the tractor this morning?
Gee, I'd sure like to, but I gotta go to school.
Well, you'll be driving it all right. This is one tractor that a boy can handle easily.
There's not much chance of these lugs getting loose with two big bolts for each one.
No, but after you've used your tractor 3 or 4 days, better go over them again. Then you'll know they won't come loose.
All right, I'll do that.
Now for the skid ring. You're putting that ring on wrong, Ed.
How come?
Well, that's the proper way to put on skid rings if you were running your front wheels on a ridge, as with cultivating listed crops. The rings in this position will keep the front wheels from sliding off the ridge. But yours is all flat groundwork, so the rings are set on the inside like this. Then your tractor will steer easier. This tag says crankcase contains no oil, but I have filled the crankcase with SAE 10 light motor oil. Your tractor has been thoroughly lubricated and checked as specified in the instruction manual. Here's a book, Ed, you should become thoroughly familiar with. The company takes great pains to help get the most out of your tractor by giving you complete and detailed instructions as to its operation and care. Let's look at the special safety instructions. Here's what they say right off the bat. Do not operate a new tractor on full load. The first 50 hours, this tractor should be run at half load or less.
I thought we'd start plowing, but I have some disking to do. How would that be?
Fine. We can set the disc to cut light. Do you want a cranker? I'll set the throttle in the halfway position, which is about right for starting. Always have the gear lever in neutral, clutch out, and spark fully retarded when you crank your tractor. No, don't crank it that way. Always pull up on the crank and use your left hand. That's not only safer, but it leaves your right hand free for choking when necessary. There, that's right. She ought to start on about the third lift of the crank. Now advance the spark. This little plunger is your oil pressure indicator. Make sure the plunger moves out when you start the engine and remains out while the engine's running. All right, we're ready to go. Just be careful not to engage the clutch too quickly. Pull the lever in gradually so that the engine will pick up the load steadily and avoid jerking. Now we'll hook on to the disc. It's easy to hitch a case tractor to an implement. You merely hold the implement drawbar in one hand and with the other hand back the tractor into position.
Hey, that's a lot easier with a foot clutch.
You're right. It takes two to hook up with a foot clutch, and besides, a hand clutch is much safer. Now we can drive out to the field. Better start out in low.
Well, let's see now. How do you shift those gears?
The positions are marked on the transmission cover. With the clutch released, that is, pushed forward, you merely move your gear lever towards number 1 to start in low. Take it easy now. Pull the clutch in firmly, but not too quickly.
And now we see them going down the field. Dealer Barnes wants to make sure that Ed Harvey thoroughly understands the care and operation of his new case tractor. He knows that by giving this special attention at the start, he is saving both himself and the user time and inconvenience in the future. Ed is soon driving the tractor alone. He has quickly mastered its simple operation, but Dealer Barnes has a few parting instructions.
Shut off the motor a minute, Ed.
How do you stop it? With the spark lever?
Yes. Retard the spark lever as far as it will go. That shorts the magneto and stops the engine. Before I go, I want to tell you something about the water pump on this tractor. The pump has no packing, so the only care it requires is greasing. To do that, you screw down the grease cup 1 turn at noon and again at night after you stop the engine. That's all you need to do. And, Ed, always use water pump grease. Never replace this grease cup with a pressure gun fitting. Other things that you will want to know about your tractor will be found right here in your instruction manual. A book like this is provided with every case machine, so that every case user can get the best service from the equipment he buys. Tonight after supper, why don't you sit down and read this book through? It'll be time well spent and will save you real money during the many years you use this tractor.
All right, Barnes. I'll read her from cover to cover. Naturally, I want to get the most out of my investment in this tractor.
You'll find the book gives you complete instructions. Now I must be going. I'll drop in and see you again in a few days.
And that night, Ed Harvey does read his instruction book from cover to cover. He is determined to give his tractor the best of care. He notes carefully what he should do each day before starting. The next morning, Ed inspects his tractor for the day's work. He first checks the oil level by removing the top plug in the crankcase. Then the oil reservoir for the air cleaner is removed. Ed has learned from the instruction book that only thin oil should be used. This important instruction is also cast right on the cleaner. Here it is. Warning, remove reservoir daily. Clean and fill to mark with thin used engine oil. The life of a tractor engine depends much upon the efficiency and the care of its air cleaner. Since most of the tractor is automatically lubricated, Mr. Harvey finds that oiling with a pressure gun is a simple job. Then he checks the grease cups. He makes sure that the grease cups for the outer rear axle bearings are filled with cup grease and screws them down one turn. Cup grease is used to form a seal around the felt washer, which protects the outer axle bearing from entrance of dirt and prevents leakage of transmission oil. For this reason, never replace the grease cups with pressure gun fittings. The water level in the radiator is checked and the tractor refueled. Getting ready for the day's work required but a few minutes' time. Ed is on his way to the field. Briefly summarized, here is the daily care of a case tractor. Check crankcase oil level. Check air cleaner. Pressure gun lubrication. Grease water pump after stopping engine, noon and night. Grease rear axle bearings with cup grease. Each operation, although an important detail, requires but a moment's time. A few days later, Dealer Barnes calls on Ed Harvey to see what progress he is making with his new tractor.
Ed, you're certainly doing a splendid job. How is she going?
Fine. I thought I'd try a little plowing this morning.
One reason why you are doing such a good job is because your plow is correctly hitched. The quality of work done by any tractor-operated machine, be it drawbar, power takeoff, or belt operation, depends to a very large degree upon the hitch or power connection. How many hours have you run your tractor?
I don't usually measure time by hours. I work by days. As near as I can figure, though, about 60 hours.
Let's look at your oil while it's still warm. That's the best time to test it. Well, there's still some body there, but I believe I'd change it about tomorrow night, and do that before the engine cools off.
Do I put in light oil again?
Yes, sir. Always use good quality light oil. As the weather warms up, you can go to SAE 20. In case tractors, never use an oil heavier than SAE 30, even in hot weather. Ed, your clutch could stand a little taking up. A new clutch will require some adjusting until the friction mats wear down smooth.
How long will that take?
Just a few minutes. This is a special tool supplied with each case tractor to assist in making the clutch adjustment.
I was wondering what that tool was for.
First, we'll remove the left-hand clutch inspection plate. This tool enables you to pull out the clutch adjusting pin with one hand while you turn the adjusting collar with the other. To adjust, you merely turn the collar to the right until the pin engages the next notch.
Will that be enough adjustment?
Oh, yes. And you may not have to adjust the clutch again for several months. Always make sure that the clutch lever snaps over center with the same amount of pressure that you now have, and you'll be all right. See this drain plug? It drains oil from the clutch housing. Remove the plug and let out the oil whenever you drain your crankcase. And now, Ed, there are a few things on a case tractor that you should check about once a month. Your valves, for example, will need attention about that often. With the cover off, you merely squirt a little kerosene around the valve stems while the engine's running. That's to keep the valves clean and free of gum. Then you oil the complete valve mechanism with light motor oil. At the same time, clean your crankcase breather.
How is that done?
You take it off and wash it in gasoline until all dirt and sediment are removed. Your front wheel bearings also require monthly attention when you're working steadily. The hubs should always be kept packed with grease, and of course the bearings should be taken up if you notice any play. If you ever see dirt in that fuel strainer, be sure to remove the bowl and rinse it out. And one more thing, check the oil level in your transmission about once a month. If you'll just follow these suggestions on weekly and monthly care, you'll get the best service possible out of this tractor. And remember, Ed, all these instructions are right there in the manual.
Dealer Barnes has just instructed Ed Harvey in the weekly and monthly care of his tractor. Such instruction is time well spent for both the dealer and the user. You can rest assured that Ed Harvey will give his tractor this weekly care. Change oil in his crankcase, drain oil from the clutch housing, and about once a month he will kerosene and oil the valves, clean the crankcase breather, grease the front wheel bearings, clean the fuel strainer if needed, check the transmission oil. These simple operations take but little time, yet they mean everything to low-cost operations. Several weeks later, Dealer Barnes is working at his desk.
Hello. Oh, is that you, Ed? How are you getting along?
Okay, but say, I have a chance to get some cheap fuel. Will my case tractor handle it all right?
It sure will. A lot of case users are burning low-cost fuel. Just hold the line a minute. You'll find suggestions for burning low-cost fuels well covered in your tractor manual, where it says use of different fuels. You will also find specifications for such fuels as well as operating instructions. All the information you need, Ed, is in the book.
Yes, I know, but the instruction book mentions a metal cover or shield over the manifold. Will I need that cover?
That all depends on the grade of fuel you're going to burn. I have some of those covers in stock. If you can come in, I'll show you one and give you any other information you want. So long, Ed. It didn't take you long to get here.
No, it didn't. If I can burn this cheap fuel, I've got to order some today.
Ed, case tractors are designed to burn a wide range of fuels. Of course, the most economical fuel may not be the cheapest to buy, but this special combination manifold with one simple adjustment was designed to burn low-cost fuels efficiently and economically. Notice this heat damper. It has two positions. For burning low-cost fuels, you move this lever down to H. This directs the hot exhaust gases around the intake manifold to heat the fuel and make it more combustible. Of course, you always start and warm up your engine on gasoline. To warm your engine up quickly and maintain the higher temperatures required for cheaper fuels, this radiator curtain is provided. It can be raised and lowered to maintain the desired water temperature, which for low-cost fuels is about 200 degrees.
I've learned that from reading the instruction book, but it also says something about a metal shield over the manifold and a motometer or thermostat.
I have all those parts in stock. Let me show them to you. A lot of case users get along without these parts, but they will help, especially when using the cheaper fuels. Let's take them over to the tractor, and I'll show you how they're installed. This is the thermostat. It fits into the upper radiator tank elbow and prevents the water from circulating and cooling off until it reaches a temperature of about 200 degrees. That should be the temperature of your engine before switching from gasoline to your other fuel. There, the new radiator elbow with the thermostat is in place. That automatically controls the water temperature. Now we'll put the shield over the manifold. It only takes 2 volts to hold this shield in place.
Just what is the shield for?
It keeps the fan or a strong side wind from cooling off the intake manifold, thereby maintaining the correct manifold temperature for vaporizing the fuel. The motometer on the radiator cap tells you when your engine is hot enough to change from gasoline to your other fuel. It also serves as a guide for adjusting the radiator curtain. Of course, you can get along without the motometer if you have the thermostat. Remember, Ed, always have your engine warmed up before turning on your low-cost fuel. And it is a good plan before stopping your engine to switch back to gasoline.
I'll remember that. And now I'll have the oil man deliver some of that fuel.
Just follow your instruction book, and you'll get along fine. Case tractors are designed to burn low-cost fuels.